Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the League of Legends Season 1 Championship. I am Freak. I'm joined here with Joe Miller.
Hello there.
Quick shout out to the 178,000 viewers online.
There's a few.
Some ridiculously large number. Wow. That's a lot
really,
of people.
Respect.
Yeah, you guys are freaking awesome. Shout out to those of you who decided, hey, we're going to host a Season 1 party, like bring friends over, order pizza, like put it on the big screen TV. Like, I know of stories of people doing like epic things to prepare for this. That is super awesome. So good news for everyone who's now waking up in the States. It's actually, it's 7 p.m. or 1900 here. So people in the West and East Coast of the U.S. are starting to wake up on their weekends. And so I guess the NA viewership is growing in perfect time because we've got Team SoloMid versus Counterlogic Gaming. Probably the most storied North American matchup since ever, basically. These have been the top two dominant North American teams for a very, very long time. And they're back in the spotlight once more. Reginald's always been the leader of one of those top American teams. He's the leader of Team SoloMid. Counterlogic Gaming, really mostly unchanged as we've seen them about a year ago. Elements, Chowster, Hotshot GG, Big Fat LP. One quick switch up they did, not drop, but Kobe24 is a sub now, and St. Vicious is their starting jungler. Otherwise, a pretty much unchanged lineup since a full year ago. But these are really the two most storied North American teams. And they're super strong. And actually, right away into the picks and bans. Yeah, they're just ready to go on that one. And the first ban, unsurprising, Needly dropped out. KX banning out Needly. Don't want to give that one to Hotshot GG for pretty obvious reasons. And now Chow's is going to be the team captain to do picks and bans for CLG side.
Yeah, and I feel a little bit sorry for Hotshot GG because he's never going to get to show his Needly skills off in any tournament ever. No, never. No one in their right mind won't ban it.
Well, yeah, that's what you do in a tournament is you learn those champions. So Puss of Fate banned out by CLG. Pretty good choice there. North America super afraid of Twisted Fate and TSM. Reginald can, in fact, play a good TF, so that's the ban there.
So second ban coming up here momentarily for TSM. And if you're only just joining us and you're wondering, you know, how this whole system's working, obviously each team gets 30 seconds to choose each ban and
60 seconds.
60 seconds for their picks. Okay, thanks for clearing that one up. I've only seen it 10 times already today, but that's fine.
No worries.
And Rumble banned as the second one for TSM. So another one that the North American team seem to be a little bit afraid of.
Yeah, and actually, Big Fat LP's actually been training Rumble recently, so basically forced that ban. If he hadn't been practicing him, it wouldn't have happened. Vladimir banned out, again, aimed at Reginald so far, so double mage bans so far from CLG. Afraid of pretty much TSM star player Reginald. But for what it's worth, in the group so far, Game.de and Zan both 1-1 so far on groups, tied up. Zan getting their win over Team SoloMid, who's 0-1 so far. Game.de getting their win over Zan and getting their loss to CLG. CLG 1-0. New band out for TSM, strong jungler pick. And we got one more band to go to the pick start.
Yep, and obviously 20 seconds still left to pick that one, and it should be coming in here any second. And as you mentioned, these two teams so familiar with each other, and it's quite nice to see them playing on LAN in Europe, actually. Not something we see. And Zillion will be the third.
Wow, every single ban aimed at Reginald. I'm sure he'll probably talk about that in the post-game interview. I almost guarantee it. So that's I think it's kind of cute, actually, that all three bans are aimed at one player on the team. I guess they're not really afraid of Raymond's Cho'Gath. Oh, fast. Wow, fast bane. Okay.
Yeah, I think they may be a little bit scared somewhat of Reginald coming into this one. Obviously trying to single him out a little bit. Yeah, so Vayne the first pick for TSM. Obviously the system now, CLG will get 2 picks. Yep. And then it will go back over to TSM to pick 2. I know for some of you guys who've been watching out all day and obviously playing to a high level, you know this stuff already, but I know there'll definitely be some people out there who aren't familiar with competitive League of Legends play as well, so we should try and include them.
Yeah, interesting picks right here, actually. So yeah, it's a drop-down system. Both teams get to ban out 3 champions apiece so that neither team can pick them. And the rest of the picks are exclusive drafts. So, now that Vayne's been taken, the CLG cannot pick Vayne. Now that Warwick and Sona have been grabbed, TSM cannot pick those champions. And again, we're seeing Sona, the extremely early pick from CLG. That's probably going to be Elements playing her. But CLG seems to really love Sona so far. I mean, 2 for 2 is not you know, exactly statistically significant, but really big into that Sona there. I'm kind of intrigued by the early Warwick pick because Amumu is still in there, Trundle is in there. I guess Warwick allows them to counter jungle Amumu. Amumu's a bit of an unsafe jungler, so with Warwick you get to jump into the enemy jungle and do some really cool things there. Also, it might force TSM to grab Trundle instead, which you know they're not afraid to do. Odd1 a great Trundle player. But, okay, here we go. Special picking up Jarvan for the team. That's probably going to get dropped onto the Rain Man. Actually, that might get swapped to Chaos? No, Chaos is going to play ranged AD. Chaos will be Vayne. I don't know, some interesting things going on. Odd1 still left to pick. He's going to grab Cow. So Alistar going to be picked up pretty much for the 5th game in a row now in this tournament.
Yeah, it's good to see. I like to see Alistar. I mean, we see some great ganks from him in that last game, or not the last game, but the one before that we were set down here for. We saw some great Alistar play there, and always a pleasure to see. So they're going to be the next 2 picks for TSM, then it'll go over to CLG for another 2 picks before it comes back over to TSM.
And, you know, I'm intrigued to see that, you know, I always thought Tarek was kind of the support to beat, that he seemed to be the strongest one. He's got that amazing landing with that range stun. He's got auras on 2 of his abilities to really buff up the team, but he seems to not be that highly contended pick. It seems that Sona is rising to the top as the top support champion for most of these games. And now that's going to be a nice crowd favorite. Anivia being picked up probably for Big Fat LP. We're going to see if Chowster has put on a different ranged AD. They could give him Corki. He's a great Corki player. If I were drafting for CLG, that's probably what I would do, but of course they know much better than I. So we'll see what that ends up being. But the jungler's been picked up, support's been picked up. Swain, so that's going to be probably on Hotshot GG. So they're really, really loving Swain so far. And I guess with that tanky DPS pickup from Xpecial, no, Malzahar, still Hotshot GG's pick. He's probably going to pick that second mage. And they're still going to have Corki or maybe even Ashe available for Chowster to play. But actually a little bit surprised by Hotshot. It's probably Hotshot being Malzahar. Because last time we saw him on Malzahar, he didn't do so well, but he's always been doing well on Swain. Certainly, they perform different roles on teams, but I really just haven't seen him actually play Malzahar that well at this level of play. It's a little bit surprising to me.
Well, final 2 picks coming out for TSM. Going to be Nocturne and Annie, at least for now. That seems to be the case. Obviously, they do have a bit of time, 60 seconds for these 2 picks, and they could end up changing them. If some people are wondering, you know, they look at this and think, okay, why is the usual jungler guy not have smite? Then they can actually switch the champions around. The draft system allows that so that you can pick, you know, whatever order you are in the team, you can pick which you want first in, you know, your priority picks, just to clear that up, because I'm sure there'll be some questions about that as well. Yeah,
so interesting. It's not going to be Jungle Cow, it's going to be Roam Cow. That'll be Xpecial. And then the Rain Man, or not Rain Man, sorry, he's picked Nocturne, but he'll trade that out to the Odd1. And yep, there's the Corki pickup. So huge damage lineup right here. These are all offensive-based champions, so the swap's going to get underway. Really, really powerful lineups on both sides. I think CLG outpicked Team SoloMid here. Got Malzahar, Corki, Warwick, Anivia, and Sona. This is a team that is actually really, really strong. They have two suppression champions, Warwick and Malzahar. It's a stun that can only be broken by Quicksilver Sash and Alistar's ultimate on this lineup so far. So those are the only ways to get out of Warwick or Malzahar's stun is going to be buying that QSS or by having to be the Alistar. And